Okay, and I'm going to give it a second. I normally try to wait till there's a lot of activity going around and them talking about them and sheep, clowns, and the zombies. Wait for them to speak about whatever doesn't truly matter in the universe. So give me a minute before I continue. Oh, got a thumbs down. I don't know. Today is Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. And this summary and brief pertains to OMB misuse of OMB 0970-0154. So this is a final recap. I said final recap before final reports, additional reports, because a lot of reports have gone out. Not specifically to the OMB department, but they can if they want access to it. It's just a whole bunch of it's a pile of junk. So I'm still trying to give it some time and make sure that I'm not going to be distracted, basically. So this is how things operate outside of the scene, and this does not include the improper coding or lack thereof in relation to real information technology. Okay. So obviously documents, they're not redacted, so I'm not going to show them even though they have been shown before. And each department and agency is going to get their copies. Some of them have already received copies. It's important for agencies, no matter which state they reside in or operate from, it's important for them to use the proper procedures, especially legal procedures, which they did not use, rather than using inappropriate and or illegal administrative operations, because it does it's a form of discrimination and also violates individuals' civil and human rights and due process as well. So it creates unnecessary burden on departments, oversight departments, and other agencies when they have to untangle the dark webs that career criminals have woven. Or does it have wove? No, career criminals wove. Misuse of IWO historical brief and summary. Authentic, and I don't know if individuals can capture this because it's not going to be too many tutorials. I'm just giving this recap because it's easier for individuals to basically they can use real databases and they will see that the information may not have been standard databases, which this is another reason why it takes a long time, because information had to be captured, whether it was electronic or hard data. And then it had to be transmitted to various departments because a lot of it does not show up in databases. Okay, so that is a big issue of concern. Record keeping and data entry is very important because it's how agencies and states keep up with money that's leaving the state, and it's also how they keep up with the budgets to make sure monies are not being unnecessarily wasted, basically. And those are taxpayers' dollars as well. So individuals, career criminals, fake believe that them when they're getting over on other people, they're in fact getting over on taxpayers as well, because their monies go to fund their tax dollars fund subsidized programs, basically. So the taxpayers are very generous. They don't get to decide where their money go, but they do have the right to know how their money and tax dollars are being wasted. So, in doing this removes a lot of unnecessary burden on employees who are competent in agencies. So that's why I decided to do a recap. Keep in mind, at no point in time and space were employers' authentic EIN number ever used on face of OMB forms to steal employees' wages. These are the OMB forms, y'all. And this is what I'm on state agency, and I'm specifically speaking to Washington State, Louisiana, and as well as newly added Hinesville, Georgia state employees. Stop using, when you're stamping things, whether it's fake or for real, stop covering up important personal identifiable information. There's a way to copy, and first of all, it's a box that you can use in order to put the stamp. You can stamp that little box. That's what it's for. They're always copying directly over PII, personal identifiable information such as names and social security numbers. Keep in mind XXXXXXXX is not the proper way to identify individuals, but we know why criminals did use that method. Let me continue. OMB forms to steal individuals' wages, which is prohibited, as all information on misused OMB forms must be an exact match for employers and employees. And that is not up for debate. And when Obama was in office, even the federal departments, the federal agencies, encouraged state agencies to adhere to administration, policy, and all the other stuff underneath the sun in regards to real and accurate data record keeping. EINs are also used for tax purposes. So we don't know if these heinous crimes have affected taxes. We know taxes have been stolen, and individuals are still waiting for 2 corrective actions at least. Well, it's about 2 to 4 corrective actions to occur. And we know that other individuals are trying to operate and work because there have been a lot of great progress, which will not be noted here. Multiple incorrect and or blank EINs. Yes, I did say blank. OMB department or office. Blank EIN numbers do not match any prior nor current W-2s for the employees. Incorrect EIN cited on misused OMB forms does not match data in TWC's database in relation to employers' correct EIN, which is also used for wage and labor record keeping and or unemployment benefits tracking purposes. Multiple false fabricated or blank EIN numbers were used to steal individuals' wages. False EIN 352-269-776. Tres cinco dos, and it's a way to read it, but people have to really understand like that. Says 977 says, dated March 8, 2016, and cites Ashland Services LLC. Does not belong to General Motors nor its subsidiaries, i.e. contractors. No EIN on face of fabricated IWO, in quotes, dated June 27, 2016. So that is prohibited, null, and void, and it's also a red flag. False EIN 383850122. Used for a case identifier 2144748, dated February 16, 2021. The EIN does not belong to General Motors nor its subsidiaries, i.e. contractors, which is a red flag. False EIN 383850122, used for case identifier 2102287, dated February 16, 2021, and cites AI Shreveport LLC, 410 Oakmere's Crescent Suite 201. Crescent Suite 201, Virginia Beach, VA 23462-4235. It's false. EIN number does not belong to General Motors, nor can it be traced, nor can that specific address be traced to General Motors subsidiaries, i.e. contractors, which is another red flag. I also know an employee, GTJ, last 4 digits of the social security number does not appear on face. Rather, XXX it appears, which is deceptive business practices because there's no way of knowing whose social security number or what identifier actually lies underneath the X's. The last 4 digits must be visible and legible for exact data match purposes as it relates to transparency, okay? So that piece of our personal identifiable information must be on face and it must be legible, at least the last 4 digits, because anything can lie underneath those X's, as individuals have discovered and found out, which also led to a heinous acts of synthetic identification, fraud, and theft of immovable and or immovable property, as well as collateral attack. And there is some instances of forgery. We're just not trying to take up departments' times, but they're going to see it and they're going to be able to hold the information. Then they're going to ask, what the hell were you thinking? Because that's what other individuals who were more competent were trying to figure out what the hell is this. They thought it was a joke, and other individuals were embarrassed. In there, they have higher titles. So these little Neanderthals are going behind individuals with a much higher title than they have because they feel as though they're above law. You're not going to hear the Black YouTube sector speak about this. They're going to keep talking about IVD, IVD, IVD. They're never going to speak about fake birth certificates and false IVD operations and procedures, which are not legal. Invalid, improper IWO, in quotes, issued in or around February 16, 2021, reflects acts to retaliate, which is prohibited. It increased improper, unauthorized, manually inputted administrative monetary amounts from $200 to $788 plus $50, totaling $818. Without real service, real proper administrative review hearings, and without a valid court order issued by real officers of the court, i.e. judges. And I'm going to make this very clear, even though it doesn't take rocket science. Individuals cannot operate as though they are judges. If you want to be a judge, put on a robe. You can't operate as if you're an attorney. If you want to be an attorney, put on a robe. Well, not put on a robe, but go to school. Go to law school. Even though it is noted throughout discrimination in civil rights complaints and brief summaries, AI advances HR Department JVS, and we know the individuals' full names, and they are no longer employed. They scattered. When individuals have a good job like that, you don't just run off after a few years. So were they getting some on the back ends as well? The universe and taxpayers will never know, and neither will survivors of heinous crimes. So S. Hunt never had any intentions on providing employees with a copy of any invalid, fabricated, non-legally enforceable IWO. With the assistance of a third party, the HR department was notified and instructed to hand over any and all records which were not properly reviewed, though they were transmitted to the company's HR department. Per labor and/or real garnishment laws, employees have a right to know how their identities and names are used and/or misused. They also have a right to receive records and to be notified properly, i.e. served. Now I'm speaking to the agencies. Companies do not serve individuals unless they owe people, unless you owe the company money. They attempted to say because the boxes on page 2 of the misused IWOs or OMB forms were not checked, they could not give the employee a copy. And I call bullshit, and so will individuals who regulate any type of program. Any type of business. That's like you going inside of a store and they're like, oh, you can't have your receipt. Bullshit. The boxes were intentionally checked because it was never intended for them to let individuals know how their names and their social security numbers and other PII were used and or misused. So at first they didn't want to give a copy. Individuals basically charged them up professionally. And you can either hand over the documents or we can get a court order for you to release the documents. So not even a court order. We can go through a informal process, twist your arms to make you release employees' files. This is prohibited underneath Real Title I of the Administration Rules, Guidelines, Policies, Procedures, and or laws, etc. So this gets into the realm because Obama's administration already informed individuals how to complete an IWO properly. And anytime any revision or modification, quote unquote, occurs, the amended box have to be checked. And they're not. So that's another red flag for deception and fraud. Further note additional deceptive practices, which also includes red flags, despite the fact Trudy Bellis and LMA. Why are you guys using initials? Reissued multiple IWOs. Judges don't even have their names. But why do these Neanderthals fake belief that they can just use their initials? If it's an initial, if it's a real name, we have no idea because we can't see these raps. So multiple IWOs, the amended box is not used properly, nor is it checked. Same such for arrears greater than 12 weeks because it probably trigger a legal alert. So that's why they don't check the boxes. That's what I'm assuming. Well, that's what I'm inferring. You don't want to assume, make an ass out of you and me. So the amended box is not used properly, which is standard protocol when events are authentic and legally valid on its face. Even if when human resources are not familiar with protocols, it doesn't take rocket science to know any types of revisions made to any forms of documents, whether in-house or out-house. Revisions are cited and noted as revised or amended for accurate record keeping purposes. This should have been an immediate red flag for the HR department, but incompetent individuals made it their duty to knowingly and intentionally assist multiple individuals versus adhering to company's policy and wage as well as labor laws in relation to wage assignments and or garnishments when they are authentic and real on its face. All in all, each time any modifications occur in real time, I'm speaking to individuals who go through real processes like this so they know how to spot fraud basically. It always have to be accompanied by a real court order, which bear a real judge signature. So even if states try to check and say, signature is not needed when it comes to the state workers in their state, you still have to abide by out of state laws, rules, policies, and motherfucking procedures, which are standard, i.e., uniform. As it relates to interstate business and or contractual, not even contractual, and interstate compacts. So states, once again, as I've stated in other tutorials, states sign some type of interstate compact and they agree to follow their state laws, agency policies, and rules that guide, i.e. federal regulations. Because it also have to be in accordance to the SSA, Social Security Administration as well. And they also make an agreement to not misuse the databases because those are criminal activities. So this should have been an immediate red flag for the incompetent HR department, but incompetent individuals made it their duty to not only assist multiple individuals. I'm going to recap versus adhering to company's policy, wage and labor laws in relation to wage assignments, garnishments, which when they are authentic and on its face. All in all, each time any modifications occur, occur to any be accompanied by a real court order, which bears real judges' signatures, and there is non-existent. However, as stated throughout discrimination, civil rights, human rights complaint, and brief summaries, none can be obtained. Also, note many additional revisions occur because each time Washington State DSHS forwarded misleading IWOs to HR departments. Individuals were not notified because it's not their debt. So when debts are in fact for individuals, now I'm speaking to the general public, the debts are generally individuals are generally served. It doesn't take rocket science. And you also cannot use false or incorrect EIN numbers for agencies, as you can easily contact the HR departments directly, no different from how they contacted them to transmit bogus data to the HR departments, and you could have had them easily verify that information as it pertains to the correct EIN number, but that was not the intentions. False and incorrect EIN numbers were used to prevent other departments from tracking monies leaving the state without being noted and accounted for. In real interstate cases, the Attorney General's office also records historical financial data and payment information in case any type of discrepancies or payment issues arise. So departments and offices did not, obviously they didn't receive it because the offices were bypassed, and so was central registry. However, it did not stop HR department employees from citing wage assignments, and proper wage assignments were issued from the state of Texas, which they were not, but that's what's on the face of the form, so that's a false claim. In any event, when interstate procedures occur, those type of sensitive cases, when in fact they're real on its face, are not, regular workers do not generally work those type of cases because it involves a lot of various types of legal procedures, coding, and proper forwarding for real action to real courts. Career criminals do not have any intentions to comply with real order establishment and enforcement as regulated underneath IBD in relation to civil rules of procedures. Now I yield back to Congress. These are heinous judiciary concerns, but take a pause because some information has been updated. It's like there's no reason to go haywire trying to sit up there and try to get the laws apart because so far things are looking okay. But it still would be something to revisit when they're finished screaming, hooping, and howling about. I don't know what they're doing. These lab rats are out of control. We try not to pay attention, but the things that they spew, so it's just retarded. I'm sorry. So yeah, anytime there's no compliance by CPs or the NCPs, because you know they have Monkey, Minstrel, Andre Williams, Malcolm Lauder, Seven Jones, Kendrick Lamar, Pittman, real cases are often closed, always. The biological fathers do not want to comply, and the birth mothers do not want to comply. Case closed. In this heinous welfare fraud case, they attempted to try to mask it as IVD, which individuals can check the legal databases. They won't see any real legal action, basically. Um, let's go on. Let's go and let me tell you how the real process worked. So, as stated, biological fathers and the CPs, when they do not want to appear in court because they've already committed so many crimes, previous and currently, real enforcement orders require real court appearances before a real judge. For real interstate cases, court appearances are generally remote via video or conference calls before real courts, and they don't want that. There aren't any valid administrative settlement agreements, and even under instances this occurs, it must be properly reviewed to ensure individuals actually enter into real agreements and to ensure that individuals' due process rights are not violated. So, real administrative nor legal standing to issue invalid and non legally enforceable IWOs via unauthorized administrative actions are non existent. And this is Pat Murray. She's the senator in Washington State. And this is not her fault, but you're the senator. So how do individuals who are senators who took an oath of, you know what I'm saying, to defend not only your state laws and your state constitution, just defend the constitution, period. How do they feel when individuals knowingly and intentionally try to circumvent the laws and, you know what I'm saying, that they created? And the laws have to be balanced for a reason. It's balanced to level the playing field, basically, to ensure that individuals don't have an unfair advantage. So I just want to let incompetent state agencies know who are assisting their clients in carrying out heinous types of welfare and paternity fraud, which are deceptive business practices and deceptive administrative practices as well, and the red flags, which further shows intent to knowingly defraud state and federally funded programs. Individuals, next time, because you know paternity tests were taken in or around 2010, they should have been properly filed, and we would not be here today, Congress. This is self-explanatory, basically. So they hated the government so much and hated individuals' ability to, you know what I'm saying, just work hard. Who wanted to achieve self-sufficiency. They hated the government and hated individuals and hated people who are current and are retired. So this is why they did that. So we don't know what the jive turkeys, clowns, grass monkey, minstrels Joe Biden are speaking about when it comes to the civilians. We do know that we want to ensure or let people know how they can defend themselves against any type of given crimes in relation to subsidized programs. So Black people like to make any excuse, and that's why Black people on social media do not like me, and they don't like others who do their jobs. And it's perfectly okay, because we're not working for you, we're working for the American people. And we told them to pick a door in any door when it comes to detecting, deterrence, and combating any type of given unnecessary crimes, which is considered domestic terrorism. So individuals think that they're sitting up there trying to stick it to Black men, or stick it to employees, or stick it to federal employees and workers, or stick it to taxpayers, i.e. consumers. So they decided to bite the hands that feed them. And now you're going to see a lot of people run like roaches. And if you're getting tired of stupid liberals, just tell them DNA, it does exist. And they'll run. It's the government. It doesn't take anything but a little mouth swab or whatever. So while they're talking about Black men, just say DNA. They'll run like a roach. They'll scatter like roaches. Then they'll start talking about white people and talking about Black women and talking about Black men who are productive. And it just goes round and around. They've been doing this for over 400 years, I tell you. When things are, oh, you know that meme I keep telling y'all, just think of the judges me and that kid, but instead of the judges, it would be career criminals who are civilians. Ah, and they keep going to jail. Why? How do they keep getting released like this on burglary charges and all types of second degree forgery charges? How is that possible? So they're releasing criminals, y'all, and some of these individuals could possibly be pedophiles. Because you know it's not Sergeant Curtis Seiler Senior, I think he is. And if I could locate him, I would have showed him how his information was misused on the back ends. And I'm pretty sure they sent some fake papers to the Department of Defense DFAS in order to probably get a hold of his retirement, i.e. TSP. His name is all over there. He never signed anything. Let's stick it to the Army. Oh, individuals say they transferred from the Marines to the Army. Going to intelligence then. What's your MOS? He can't see me. My channel is not huge and I don't want it to be large. Unless I was doing like poetry or something, but even then there are so many copycats, clones, and chameleon starlings. Y'all gonna also hear individuals speaking about real estate and property. Do not fall for the scams. Like the government already know what a get up is. The government are in the federal, the treasurer, everybody know what the get up is. They know what the get up is. These crony motherfuckers want to be top-notch bankers, but they don't even have banker big dick money. We're not giving the real bankers who are vampires an excuse or a pass, but they did not this shit. These scams come from the bottom. Individuals pretending to be temporary brokers, and I hope more go to jail, not prison. I want to see them doing hard labor, and we want to be able to wave at them while they're on the highway cleaning up the trash. These individuals are very brazen. These are classic narcissists. Like these civilians talk about narcissists. Some of you guys are narcissists, but individuals who make it their duty to detect, deter, and combat, they're not narcissists. They're just going to let it be known that there's not a single door that can be opened if you choose to attempt to wage any type of just like stupid attacks against departments and offices and the taxpayers. I'm going to keep going back to the taxpayers. It's their money too that's being wasted. They pay taxes, Medicare, all them taxes, FICA. People have been getting a headache too. They're just like, it's just too. And that's why individuals took the time out to come over and make sure they're crossing every T and dotting every I. So you're going to see the gender wars occur and individuals do not care, period. They do not care about the gender wars. That's all they have left to do is just to scam. It's a lot of scammers on social media. I don't realize that. Even the ones that say, I'll help you build your channel. Even if individuals collaborate with you and temporarily your channel, your numbers go up, you have to make sure that you're able to keep them steady. So it's a lot of different type of scamming going on. But we know what Wall Street, the big dick should be laughing at these temporary brokers. They just get a temporary license just to sit up there and scam and suck the equity out of people's homes that they don't have any entitlement to. And we're not going to show you. Just know that the government knows how it's done. And it does require robo-signatures and a lot of fake paperwork. So individuals hate government personnel. Just hate people so much. Individuals just want to be regular regulars. That's why they be like, fuck the police. Apparently you would want to say, especially pedophiles. As I say, apparently rapists and pedophiles would want to say, fuck the police. So that so they can feel as though they rule the world. Feel as though that they're not going to be held accountable for their actions. Fuck the police. You always hear career criminals say that. We don't need police. And that's why some of your cities are in ruins. I personally believe that competent Leos should just transfer to deep red states. since they're not appreciated. And like I said, we know it's going to be bad apples, but it's a process for that. And I've encountered a silly rookie, but not a bad apple. Other people's experiences may very well so be different. But that's why you have a process that you can go through. So you permit what you promote. If you want a city full of crime, you're going to get exactly what you ask for. But when it comes to individuals being able to stand their grounds, or individuals, even as public servants, i.e., Leos, they have to protect themselves. This is 2022. So when they can't, career criminals, rapists, and pedophiles can't get you to beat yourself up, they'll be like, fuck the police, fuck government, fuck the taxpayers or whatever, and fuck y'all too, basically. And I'm not speaking about individuals who truly want to change their lives, because when they do want to change their lives, they come out of prison or they come out of, how do y'all feel about so-called, how do y'all feel about career criminals being able to obtain degrees? I really don't like it, but whatever, to each his own. So Scalia and other people never spoke about that or whatever, but if you're not abiding by the law or whatever, how are you getting into universities with a serious background and a serious record? Why is that permissible? That's an important question, Q&A. That's an important question to beg. So you mean to tell me, and individuals are not perfect, but individuals are not going around sitting up there fucking with laws. This is the most silliest thing ever. So individuals who choose to really want to make a difference, they have to worry about if they have to sit next to like a rapist or a pedophile or a habitual like lawbreaker. Make it make sense. Especially when they do not even repay their fucking court fees and civil fees. They brag about criminal justice, okay. We don't have to brag about it. Just know that it doesn't matter what type of crimes the individuals choose to carry out. You're no longer going to get away with these stupid acts and criminal activities. But no shade on individuals who want to change their life. I wouldn't trust them, because the minute that they see big old checks, that's why they like to work in social services. The minute they see they check, their eyes pop open, they be like, oh, we can steal this and pretend it's for a party, or it's a conference, or it's a vacation or event for the company, or we could still, it's real ways that companies allow people to use petty cash. And those are not one of those ways. So party like a rock star on the taxpayer dollars, on your state budget dollars, which still come from the taxpayer. Black people like to make so many excuses. That's why they're so run around listening. Oh, men is by man because of child support. No, some of y'all and your baby daddies mad because you're no longer going to be able to run child support scams and paternity fraud scams, especially in Louisiana, especially in Huntsville, Georgia, and especially in deep red states. That's why they're disgruntled, and that's why the gender wars, y'all just keep going back and forth and keep saying IVD. We say you'll never say IVD fraud, and it's not corruption. Fraud, call a spade, identify the perpetrators. Some Black individuals who are different genders, they don't understand how criminal activities can be carried out. All it takes is for individuals, no matter the gender, whether they're biological fathers or the females, to know a state employee who is willing to do their dirty bidding, which is prohibited, and they can also land their asses in jail. So there are some instances where people are misusing real databases, and individuals are shadowed, basically. We don't know how you do it in Hinesville and in Louisiana, the dirty sides, or Washington State. We don't know where's y'all Q&A? No one shadows, no one have oversight. They just go on a rampage and do whatever it is they want to do, as they show clients how to deceive state and federally funded programs, and they also execute phony paperwork. So Department of Defense, they're not used to the phony paperwork because they're not trained like that. They should have their own office though. They should have their own department, or even though the offices departments is already too big. We have like over 300 or 400 of them, but they need to be operable though. That's why ethics, integrity, and data management are important. And no matter if it's this little simple, this is heinous filthy report though. Other reports get more filthy. It gets filthy with forgery, filthy with identification ID fraud, filthy with it gets filthy. And it's up to the United States government or state government to decide whether or not they're gonna release these stupid reports, which I do not concur. Because then you'll have a lot of copycats. That's why only certain information that's privy to general public is released. Because they had a right to know how their tax dollars are wasted. And people on the back ends expended at least, or if it wasn't $1 million, it was at least $500,000. Unauthorized services, fake assessments. Jordan Peterson will understand this because it comes from his realm. Fake assessments, fake billing, which led to improper third-party collections and collateral attacks. I don't know how it works in a course in Louisiana, but I know in other courts they specifically have cited on the wall, if you provide the court with a false document, you can be prosecuted, criminally prosecuted. And individuals did in fact do that. So career criminals want to be on a pedestal and they want to point their fingers and chastise taxpayers and voters. This is not a red and blue gang Republican GOP Democrat thing, but people know how crimes get started. And it's the Democrats' constituents, unfortunately. And some of them can't even vote until they repay their debts to the courts and society. Had they been sentenced properly in the 90s, because these individuals are older than we are, maybe they would have learned their lessons if they would have sat in federal prison. But federal prison sounds too much like right. They need to do some type of hard labor. Had they have done hard labor for more serious, dirty crimes, we probably wouldn't be here. So they want to poke the Department of Defense because the Army is so stupid. And they poke the right bears, basically. Ask them why they do it, they'll be like, what you gonna blame? You want to be a wannabe hustler, dope dealer on Department of Defense dime or on the taxpayer's dime? Or you want to be a rapper, WRAPPR, or a beat master or maker on the taxpayers and federal employees' dimes? Make it make sense. So next time these sheeps, clowns, and zombies want to tell you or try to tell you how to speak a police show speech, it's a lot of things you can say to just like, be gone, roach. And they're self-eating. And that's why they need to stay across red lines, and they need to also stay within their own territories. Oh, I like your bike, I'm going to steal it. I tell you, your information is not safe in the paws of the wrong hands. It takes a dirty insider contractor to pull these kind of shenanigans and Ponzi schemes off. Because they know the Department of Defense and other departments is generally more concerned with foreign policy. We still don't know why the document tracking ID numbers are not mandatory, basically. It should be. So this revision from 2016 revised 2014. That's because when Obama was in office, the HHS told them like what to do. They updated the shit. They told they like babies. They have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Fill this out, check this box, check this, stamp this box. They're retarded. And I hate when outsiders get left like slide through the cracks because they're the criminals. That's why you'll see them on social media. I, as a caseworker, bitch, do your job. And no, competent individuals cannot work around one or two bad apples. They'll try to bully and harass you. And that bitch was from Louisiana. I love my boss. That bitch was from Louisiana. Bitch, you do not know all the shit that look, bitch. And before individuals go to jail from fighting in a motherfucking office, we would gladly sit up there and say, well, we'll be back later, you guys. As soon as they sit up there and not have to put people around dirty bitches. I in Louisiana, bitch, I know that. I could tell by the way you speak. And I'm not just shading everybody from Louisiana. I could tell by the way you speak. Oh, this how you do. Bitch, do you know that individuals have been trained by more and more people that have been there well before you, bitch? Y'all trying to make our offices dirty in Texas is what you're trying to do. Stay in Louisiana. Stay where you vote, really. I'm not talking to all of you, but when you move to a different state, you know it's a different. You have to learn to adapt and adapt to laws. How's that for survival of the fittest, whatever that means? I told you I'm going to revisit that. I think that's another oxymoron. I love my boss. In fact, people are starting to get on my nerves at this point in time and space. And no shade on BBWs or people who truly love themselves. Because fat people are bullies, just like certain other types of grass monkey gremlins. Like, you know, like, we're going to report and tell you know what, darlings, do what the fuck you have to do. Because no one cares at this point in time in motherfucking space. We do care about putting our asses up putting our feet up the career criminals' asses. But if the issues do not concern you, why are you so obsessed and pressed? Because I have nothing constructive to do, basically. They're like, we're really gonna stick it what to the black man? Okay. This is not about like, y'all are disgusting. Y'all are disgusting. Y'all are disgusting. Y'all are disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. This has nothing to do with politics. Have everything to do with monkeys being, when I say monkeys, I'm talking about barbarians. Let me stop saying monkeys. Being overly obsessed with how much people make, overly obsessed with their fucking mediocre lifestyles and their jobs and the opportunities that they took advantage of, overly obsessed of their education, and it makes them envious and jealous. And criminals will do anything, y'all. Hide your wallets, your purses, your Chanel bags, your Dooney and Burks. Hide the bags. And don't buy bags if you care. Don't live above your means. It's not worth it to what? Fit in? Individuals went to like a semi-prep school and individuals weren't really concerned about that. You have your different cliques or whatever. People are not people concerned about these. So you'll see individuals, even if they have a lot of money, they don't even act like these clowns. Like when people have a lot of money, they don't even tell you to have a lot of money. They just spend it, spend it. What do you want? What do you need? That's what charity is. Charity is not forced. So that's the message that I'm sending to the Capitol, to DC. And other states should feel proud because they're not even listed. You got Alabama, you got Mississippi. They don't fuck with Mississippi. They don't play with them troops. You got Florida. Y'all better stop. It's some stupid retard just be posting your back. Do you know that that's dumb? It's also stupid and dumb to walk around with a badge. First of all, I don't think that you're supposed to do it. I mean, you get that information in training. No different from walking around in camo or whatever. Take your uniform off unless you're gonna run the store for 2-3 minutes and run your ass back out. I'm not a lieutenant colonel, so that's not my job to even go there. But yeah, civilians make me sick. The ones that can't mind their business, and and then people feel as though people are doing tutorials. So, well, you give authorized people the right. No, individuals do not, because they're not speaking to you, dummies. They're speaking with individuals who have oversight. Speaking to the camera. They're not talking to you. At least I'm not. 400 years and this mess is the same mess or whatever. Probably the same mess that your grandparents engaged in or whatever. Well, we don't have, the black people hate DNA tests. We're gonna keep it funky. That's why they be like, oh, we're Irish, oh, we're Hispanic, oh, we're this or we that. I'm like, show me your whole lineage, show me the whole line, the entire genetic makeup. Show me your whole history. Well, if ancestry.com or DNA, whatever they call it, says it's right. And that's why black people are always going to be lost in the sauce, except for the ones who truly know where they come from. Now, if individuals decide to accept your blood, even though it's not their blood, they have an independent decision to do that. They cannot be forced to do that. And in the long run, it is detrimental. So I'm tired of hearing these Jezebels and these pick-me's and these clowns say, it's depression, it's this, it's that, or whatever. Go and let's see. Go to a real counselor. We're going to see how that assessment comes out when it's not fabricated. And they're basically going to tell you need to get off your lazy ass and get a job or get some fucking vocational and educational training. And that's absolutely free. Free meaning that the government or taxpayers fund, or people have donors. You got rich people be. Yeah, I notice liberals cannot measure any type of motherfucking program or anything that they do, even when it comes to their nonprofits, because they're not really giving away. All they do is sit on it, squander it, and steal. So I'd never donate to something that a liberal say it's a nonprofit. No, I don't. Let me see the paperwork. Let me see how much money you actually give back directly to communities. Let me see if you help people pay their rent. Let me see if you help people pay their electric bills. Let me see if you help people pay a water bill. And if individuals truly want to pay it for y'all, I think when you get like electric bills or something like that, there's a form on it and you gotta like it's perforated and you tear it off and you're able to send in a donation to the electric company and that way they can pay it forward. Liberals nonprofits are not nonprofit; they're for profit. We don't care because I don't donate to them ever. We donate directly, and that's another reason why these career criminals are fucking pissed off. But now little kids who could not afford band equipment, or little kids who could not afford school uniforms or school supplies, couldn't do school drives, couldn't sit up there and organize for actions to do something positive for the community because these stupid jackasses wanted to stick it to the army. And I hate these bitches deserve to fucking be lynched. Back in the day, you know how they used to be stoning and lynching. You hang them on a tree and let them sit there in broad daylight. The base boys know what I'm speaking about because you know you've been there through Katrina. Make them out of an example. Oh, that's not right. What's not right? Eye for an eye. And that's why we tell the American people that you are the modern day foot soldiers. Eye for an eye. The individual so used to, they're just gonna tap you on the head. Oh, you racist. Oh, you coon. Take a knee. Don't do it. They've been using these same stupid antics for about 400 years, y'all. That's why it's important for you to speak to older generations who do not fabricate their history or fabricate historical events. A lot of people have retired because they're old. They're like in their 80s. I'm grateful. I'm glad when they retired like that. Some of them are afraid to retire because they do not want to be eating cat or dog food. No one cares about the elderly. Y'all see that anyway. They don't care. But we talking about the real elderly. We're not talking about you pretenders. And back in the day when individuals didn't get along, whether it was an academic environment or what, just separating, dispersed. We don't have to attend the same nothing. Now I see why people went to private school. We're not saying it's all that perfect, but now we see why people went to private or homeschool. And I remember people who was in homeschool back in the day. Homeschool been the shit, basically. Well, people been doing it. And then they decide to go to high school. They be like, ew, I know, why are you here? Like, we had fun in high school, but for us here, like, it's like a whole new world to them. And some of them want to go back to homeschool. Rightfully so. I don't blame them. They wonder why. They be like, oh, the white people act like they're not too good. Well, maybe they are. And maybe some black people are, and that's why they keep moving. But it's going to get a point in time and space where they're not going to have to move anymore. Speaking of moving, y'all know how much people stunt on social media. They are written Airbnbs, pretending and just say that to make it seem like it's theirs. They're moving over here. It's the number one stunt for me. Materials are not everything, and rich people are not always happy. And when they are happy, it's because they are down to earth and they don't sit up there and let the wealth control them. They instead control their penny wealth. And I keep saying penny wealth because it reminds me of the penny stock. You know what I'm saying? People make enough to retire without having to work until they die. And others look at it as being, oh, you're boule or they're rich, or no, they save their pennies for a rainy day. It's the entitlement for me, but I don't even know why they have not figured out. The more and more you try to sit up there and think you can get away thinking, oh, technology, yes, it's a gift and a curse because it allows you to steal and wire money and engage in fraud and forgery. But technology has evolved. They don't see it. And as far as remote work or whatever, they could sit up there and be like, okay, we're going to redo and do our corrective actions, GAO. They don't want to do nothing. They're just like, twiddle-dee, twiddle-da, fuck the police and fuck the government and fuck the taxpayers. I tell y'all, don't even communicate with like rats. Don't. It's not even where. Don't debate them. They will suck and drain your energy. That's why you just let them feast and fester off one another. Every once in a while, you might want to just want to pull it. You know what I'm saying? Stomp on them or whatever. But just kick the ass intellectual and keep it moving. Dummies cannot debate. And dummies who sit up there and try to inject feelings, no matter the subject matter, it's because they're retarded and they cannot hold a conversation without talking about color or isms. And black guys, y'all better start going into certain type of professions or whatever because they really have it out for you. Especially in Louisiana and Huntsville, Georgia, they really have it out for you. Oh, I know my homegirl work at the apartment and she might do what she want, and people gonna start going to jail again. Then people like, if we didn't see it, it didn't happen. That's because every bust does not occur on the mainstream media, even though they'll be cracking up. Y'all remember when journalists used to take that mic and be like, "Sir, why did you commit this?" And they'd be having their heads covered and they'd be embarrassed. That's how the career criminals will be, even though they wanted to be famous. So I was like, let's make them infamous or something like that. Oh, black people, some of y'all already know y'all. Some of y'all disgusting. Just stay away from common sense Negroes, because this is not about politics. So as they screaming, try to hold it against people or flag people channels because they say F Trump for F Trump, F Trump, F Trump, F Trump. Meanwhile, at least TSP database is trying to do what the fuck it do. And the VA trying to do what it do. Because people let me know their stories and I'm like, all right, so these issues are fixed. Good job. People talking about Roe and Wade. I don't care what y'all talk. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. And this is black people though. Oh, it's the racism, it's the KKK. Do y'all see people running around here in capes or something? And if you did, I don't think it was conservatives running around like that. Even if it was, it's like, it's 2022. People can literally build their own stuff. unless they don't have any skills. And I hate when people, well, not even people with when the subhumans say, our ancestors, show me one piece of property or land that your ancestors built, and I'll believe you. Because other individuals can show it's the proof in the pudding. That's the eye of our ancestor help is show me what your ancestors built. A house, businesses, landscaping. No. People just try to take credit. No different from how these dummies try to take credit for my work and other individuals' work, whatever type of work y'all do. Whether it's writing or any other given type of artistry. Because evil cannot create. They lack creativity. They can't create. All they have, they're like, let me find another way to scheme. Told y'all, it's a lot of fake people saying, I've lost weight and I can show you how too. Individuals, I don't want to lose too much weight, but I'm not even trying, I'm just trying to tone up a little bit. Stop listening to all these scammers saying, we can show you how to do this, and they go and get tummy tucks and say, see, why lie? There's dummies that sit up there that really make that money, man. Money, man. They'll be on this motherfucker for 8, 10, 15, 20 hours. And they still don't kick ass. All they do is sit up there and gossip and spread rumors, lies, and disinformation. So I think I'm gonna be sending OMB, cause y'all know you know the donkey's petty or whatever. They'll be like, oh, it does really. I don't know what you're talking about when shit. No, when shit. Indeed. The OMB got these forms because they really supposed to have access to it. Should be something that they could click to see if it was scanned inside the database. That's why people at the fair kept saying, we don't see this. We don't. We know Scooby Dooby Doo why they didn't see it. Now with a whole bunch of operations occurring outside of centralized networks and databases, i.e. critical infrastructures. I know the government is their worst nightmare, and rightfully so, it should be. Let's see here. It gets really nasty, y'all. This is just the stuff that can be talked about publicly that general public can understand, especially black people, because black males and or men are generally subjected to heinous attacks like this. So that's why you'll see them running around. Why he only paid $12.54? Because he's not supposed to be paying nothing unless you engage in fraud. $12.54 for 3 kids for only past due, no current support, no arrears greater than 12 weeks, no check month. Oh, he should be happy that he paid that. Black people or males should be happy if they paying $12.54 or $50. Not if they're not supposed to be paying zero. And stop engaging in all types of crimes, forgery being one of them. So you gonna hear them crying. They only said $15 because you probably owe the government. You're like, he only gave me 50. That's all you finna get. But when they're in $12.54, that's a red flag. And I'm speaking to real human services, the real HR departments, no matter the state. $12.54, huge red flag. And some judges are not even gonna waste their damn time like this. Back in the day, they used to waste their time on sending a $2 check. Nowadays, they're not finna preserve the trees. Paper Reduction Act. So we can keep this going and going, or they can surrender to the United States government or a state government. They can surrender to, they're not going to surrender to the Leos or whatever. And we don't care if they go to prison or jail or not. But we do know they're going to be owing the government, their state, whatever, unless they decide to wipe it out. They're going to be paying back a lot of money. And they also have to reimburse individuals and release the stolen $80,000 to $90,000 that is being held. Pat Murphy, or what's her name? By Washington State DSHS. Isn't Pat Murphy? And we're just using her as an example, whatever, y'all, because she's the senator. Am I saying her name right? Is the thing. It's something Murphy. She's in DC or something, or at least they go there occasionally. I think it's something Murphy, some white lady. The Washington State Auditor's Department or office is not oh, it's Pat Murray. That's why it's Murray. Correction. Their auditor's department is not operable in Washington State. And even when they tell their state agencies to perform actions, they don't. Yeah, they auditors is not the auditors. The office is inoperable, and when individuals do the right thing, that's why their employees end up suing them, because when they do the right thing, they're attacked, bullied, and retaliated against, and it's coming directly from the employees too. And people end up suing Washington. And Washington don't care. They used to have an incompetent. That's why I can't. But what can you like? I don't even know how to word it. What can you expect when they have needle injection sites promoting drug use? And shout out to individuals who are able to get their lives together, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. At the end of the day. But how do you have individuals who are so-called counseling they're on drugs and dope and doping it up and spending their salary on dope and their clients on dope? And they probably fucking their clients at this point. I don't put anything past Washington State. I don't put none past Georgia either. In Louisiana, I don't. I don't put none past y'all. And y'all pygmies need to stop trying to attack black people, males or men. Be trying to hook OP. That is, you cannot develop a relationship with your clients. That's prohibited. And y'all should know that you either A, have to quit your job, or B, let somebody carry over your little transfer the kid. You cannot work on stuff when you know people. And I'm not gonna keep on telling you retards that. So I'd rather your state let your governors deal with you, or whoever your secretaries are. Yeah. 17%. And don't expect any other tutorials and not into not into a lengthy extent. And this is quite lengthy. People like to take credit for people's work, Congress. And that's why individuals come out every once in a while so they can show, because other individuals are not going to be speaking the same thing, i.e. the sheeps, clowns, the pygmies, and the Jezebels. They don't even know how to, they will get a headache trying to do this. Okay, they said the state auditor of Washington is an independently elected constitutional officer in the executive, and that's a lie. It's not independent, because if it was, they would be able to twist the agency's hands, and they get paid $132,000, and you still can't tell DSHS to do their damn job. Wow. State Pat McCarthy, she hasn't even been doing a real good job. Y'all, look, it's such a mess. I'm stumbling all over my words. Pat McCarthy hasn't even been. What are you doing, ma'am? And we're just asking, because you got some criminals in your state, and we're getting really, like, truly sick and tired of them. Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky to be exact. You got a fugitive out there. They might not have an APB out for their arrest yet. But like I said, we do not care whatever. We do know they're eventually going to pay for their crimes, so we do know that. Washington status I saying, when you contact these offices, I could do it right now. They never had that just shit on the phone, huh? Ma'am, this is a public number. Do you have a excuse? I mean, do you have a comment? Anything like that? Law-abiding citizens deserve better. That's the point of it all. Your boy Troy, he used to work for the Washington State Auditor's Office, and he's a disgrace to the. That's why he felt as though he was above law. I think he got some time. He not a lot, 2 years. That's all, just 2 years for unrelated things. They like to engage in estate fraud, y'all. So does Richard Shepard, who was an attorney in Washington State. Hopefully he's totally disbarred now, because at first he was just suspended. Totally, just the state fraud. Oh, it's old people. Hide your elderly people, y'all. They love to steal their property and steal their money and steal their retirement. They say that the auditor's office has about 400 employees with many assigned to regional offices around the state. I can't tell Washington. So this is brought to you by crosscut.com. And we're just going to take this with a grain of salt. A windfall of recovery money requires thousands of extra hours for the state auditor's office to prevent misuse. Ask the auditors when they're going to send individuals their fucking the monies that was stolen from them. You can make this process real easy, or they can keep making it. It's not complicated. Director of State Special Investigations at the Washington State Auditor's Office poses for a portrait in her office in Olympia, March 2nd. 2022, when describing an immense amount of federal recovery money coming into Washington State, lifts her hand up flat in front of her face like a rapidly rising water line. She says she's dealing with billions of dollars. We almost doubled the state's federal spending in 2021 because it's too much fraud. Typically, it's not corrupt. Corruption has to start because that's something big. If this fraud is something that's like a bubble, it keeps bubbling until it bursts. Yeah, they just storing money in bogus accounts, Washington State DSHS. They're probably like, no, we're gonna, because then you got to get the money back from the career criminals. Multiple federal recovery bills urgently distributing money directly to state, cities, programs, and fund your own shit. That's what we got to say to these liberal states. Fund your own shit, especially your crimes. Fund your own shit. And I ain't speaking to her because I don't know her. And Auditor Pat McCarthy said the state auditor's office has had transparency and independence built in since its beginning. Where why isn't it still not working in 2022? And if y'all want to know who the real racists are, they probably look not like Pat herself, whatever, but they look like these liberals. And they're no different than the hotel wannabe black supremacists. But if you're a career criminal, you are not going to wage any type of supremacy over white nor black people who are not your slave. And they keep saying that they conducted unemployment thing. Conduct another one on DSHS. And they already put out the report in 2015, ongoing probably, saying, the agencies did not always follow. It means that they never followed their own rules, procedures, policies, guidelines, nor federal regulations. That's the verbiage they used. They did not always follow. They did not follow any laws. They broke over 500. And people say, that's impossible. No, it's not. They broke over 500. Like, people stop counting at about 250 to 300. And especially when you're not counting all the consumer financial protection laws, the SSA laws, and the regulations, and other types of laws that are combined, and the ones that guide. Probably over five. No, probably. It's over 500. And so let me see if their office work. I want to see if they have any control. I want to see if they have any control. And Pat McCarthy, different from, don't get her mixed up with the senator. She came in the office January 2017. And what have you been doing, ma'am? Because this is a heinous case and everybody know about it. That's why individuals get quiet when we say, how was it possible for y'all dirty clients to have 10 or 20 case identifiers and client identification numbers? That's unheard of. And it's illegal and prohibited. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, no, like 10 to 20. They would literally have to have 20 kids. So, and I'm not even taking time to waste, because that's all the Washington State Auditor does, is waste paper and waste time doing fake audits and reports. Because otherwise they could have been able to operate within their scope administratively, and they could have informed DSHS to do their jobs and return stolen monies and close out the fake accounts and brush them back over to the OFR, i.e. Office of Fraud Recovery. See, they just keep playing stupid. Blue states like to play stupid. Blue states like to play stupid. Then they want to convince you that white supremacy exists. Are y'all scared of y'all clients? Because if so, call 911. Unless you're sleeping with your clients. I ain't going in for to say they sleeping with it, but I wouldn't put nothing past those filthy workers out there in Washington State and Louisiana and Georgia. Y'all hate black men so much. You hate the go. You hate y'all are career criminals. That's all. You hate white people too. You let me know what white people did to you, and the only thing they do stuff to you is the white liberal. That how you thinking that you can unleash black supremacy against black and white people, and that's not gonna happen. And when it does, detect, deter, combat. Ooh, I'm hungry. No, I don't need your stupid lunatic. It's some quacks out here, y'all. So make sure if you need any type of, you know what I'm saying, access to real resources, make sure you're not dealing with quacks like Felita Hannah Poole. Felita Hannah Poole is another criminal who likes to show her clients how to engage in phony parent assessments. And speaking of, let's see. Felita was sued for $75,000. I don't know what business person sued her, but you better not try to do it administrative, because every time criminals go to jail, y'all, she didn't go to jail. Other people did, and they were released. Kendrick Ramon Pittman, and that $800 matches Kendrick Ramon Pittman's $800 worth of fees, criminal fees, that is, for unlawful possession and illegal possession of a damn firearm. Now, how did he keep getting out of jail? Cause they keep using fictitious Ivy. They stealing money. These individuals can't pay their civil and criminal court fees. So avoid love-centered community ministries. Avoid them. Yes, some individuals will pray like they're saints, play like they're so holier than thou, and they go to church every day. And that's why black people have been so long ago stop dealing with hypocrites like Felita Hannah Poole and Tammy. You're like, oh Lord, oh no, you thieves. You're like, I sure is happy. God bless me and I ain't in prison or jail or whatever. That is not the work of God. Y'all can find Felita Hannah Poole on Instagram. She's probably hiding. She can show you how to turn 10 cents to $1,000,000. 20 years as an entrepreneur. She's not gonna say that she engaged in fraud underneath IBG counseling and Hannah's healthcare. And I feel sorry for other people who go by the name of Hannah's Healthcare, because I think it's some type of franchise, because Felita Hannah Poole is a dirty motherfucker. And she's from Leesville, Louisiana. She's another rat. Saying restore your soul, man. No, restore your fraud and pay for your own bullshit. Vendor contractor fraud underneath IBG quote unquote counseling. But why are you handling the individual stuff when you knew these individual clients? That's prohibited. For Lee to say that individuals are a hacker, maybe your mammy is a hacker, girl. Individuals have the right to know how their names and identities were used and misused. Felita neighbors. We know that your daughter worked at the attorney general's office or whatever, and we don't care. That's why even my soul, maybe she can tell Mr. J. Inslee to just go ahead and give them their money back or whatever, and she can still keep her job. If she was in another state or whatever, depending on what kind of dirty work she's doing, she'd probably be fired. Yeah, Felita Hannah Poole is a criminal. You can find her line on SoundCloud, Hannah's Home Care Agency. So you look like you changed the name. It used to be Hannah's Home Health Care Agency. Hide your elderly's paychecks, social security numbers, hide their social security payments, hide their wallets in their purses, and hide their houses. Estate fraud. I can tell you how to turn $1 into $1,000,000. I bet you can, bitch. No, people ain't gonna keep on. We're gonna keep it professional. No, we're not. No, we're not. They always having summits in Atlanta, Georgia, and stuff like that or whatever. Child, please. NPI number 13567444460. Hopefully he's been administratively dissolved. What exactly administratively dissolved? That's like a light bankruptcy without going to the court. Or y'all need to kill it with the administrative bullshit, so y'all can make sure y'all paying back your own monies that you owe to the states. And they don't care because they know you can't pay it back. So then she changed the NPIA number automatically appeared October 2nd, 2014. NPI 135674440 IBG Counseling and Education Center, fake parenting assessments. You don't have anybody's signature on file, the individual's information that you misused. 1456 and 1922. And according to her, she might think, oh, the records are deleted. That's what they like to delete the records. We have it. Yeah. And you would think, what she say, the organization is type. But why are you just doing it? Did she change her NPI? Because people have to use this for. Did she change the NPI number in 2014? Because it said less updated or whatever. We think it would have been an older date that matched the fake records. I'm just saying. Okay. And y'all know how your signal for fraud or deceptive business practices, because you should always be able to reach people. And sometimes she answers and sometimes she don't. I'm like, hey, criminal. And she's like, oh, you're no, individuals are not hackers. We actually have your name and information of other people's dirty digital footprints and trails on these records that are also dirty that was sent to the Department of Defense. Police say I was gonna go to where she go, y'all? They always break Germany or where. Bye. Yeah, Felita is a disgrace to social services, and I forgot which university she went to, but I don't want to be. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Saying restore your soul, lose some weight, and restore your fraudulent business practices. The fraudulent and deceptive business practices. Didn't even meet nobody, but they name all over your dirty work. So, yes. Next time I'm gonna sit up there and make a thing and be like, hello, Felicia. All she do is hang up. And is that the way to deal with people? That's what she do. She just hang up the phone or whatever. And then when she gets to the point to where she be like, oh, people are hackers. If people wanted to hack, they would have hacked the Washington State DSHS. And they would have taken their money back that was stolen if they really wanted to be a hacker. And other individuals are specialized in IT. So trust and believe if individuals wanted to go that route, even though they'll be justified, that's not going to be the route that they take because that's what your career criminals expect. So let's see. Yeah, once again, show me some white supremacy. And we know that other state workers or the other workers are white. We already know that. But Scooby Dooby Doo, all the career criminals are black. White people cannot pretend or pass for black. Well, sometimes they can, but they didn't do it this go around. So that's the point of it all, darlings. Let me see if I can find any interesting articles before I end this. Okay, and it's more to this, whatever, but yeah, I'm not gonna read it all. It's about 9 pages, y'all, and I probably read only 2. So, and this is just one the brief and summary. That's just one brief and summary. So I guess I'll just wind it down real quick. Let me make sure I don't see any type of fake news going around. Because I told you guys that's when I get on. When individuals spread a lot of disinformation, I'll be like, well, it's time for me to hop back on again, even though I and other people don't have to be here. They want you to keep your eyes on everything. Y'all finna see a lot of distractions occur, especially by next week. You're gonna see some more distractions. So they said, oh, single mammies are complaining about sharing men on Facebook. That's what they used to doing. Ask Andre, Tia, Malcolm. Then they like to play with people and just rub crumbs in their face. But what if people want to punch them in their face or pull up? Then it'll be too much like right. And then the criminals are not even worth it. So I be trying to tell people, it's like, don't let these motherfuckers trick you out your position to where you're doing 30 to life. And we know every day doing 30 to life. Even though it was self-defense, but doing 30 to life. You get the point. You don't have to fuck with people. All they need is one dirty contractor or vendor. Because other gammas and pick me females be like, but don't deal with other people. If people left you 20 years ago, they should not be dealing with unnecessary issues. No matter the gender. So you'll see these gender wars going on, and we just think it's hilarious. Finish fussing, fighting, kicking, doing whatever you do. Girl, please. Now you got now you got these bozos coming out from Black Ink Crew. Who would trust them to do a tattoo? Y'all know the other crew, Paris Collins. He's a career felon as well. Probably number 2 or 3. They'll sit up there and be fake marketing, take pictures with certain people, Caesar, or his employees. This scripted reality TV is bullshit. But it gave everything that it was supposed to give. In Dutchess, nobody cares, child. Go and crawl up underneath the rock before you be crying and complaining how depressed you are. Bye. That's all the way she come out. Something is wrong with y'all weirdos. Something is really absolutely motherfucking wrong. And these are the same people they be like, keep saying people. They're more like barbarians trying to chastise people. Fuck y'all and y'all scripted reality TV, because at this point in time in fucking space 15 or 20 it should be depressing to your viewers. Like that's exactly how they live their real lives. And so they like shit like that. I know politicians are like, why are you even putting in that? Because whatever they see on reality TV, they emulate that scripted bullshit. They emulate the scripted bullshit. Here's what she didn't mean to expose. People expose themselves. And yeah, and no matter, because Black people, you don't have the same, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be funny, because only Black people do this type of shit. We're not saying other groups have never done this, but we do say that they are more honest when it comes to who's the daddy. I don't care if people are married or saying, get a DNA test. And you're able to do that at the hospitals. And that information have to be posted in the hospitals. But individuals truly didn't need one because it was 0% chance. And that's why they didn't file the DNA test from 2010. Y'all retarded. And y'all desperate. The baby daddies and the mamas. You're desperate, darlings. Was it truly worth it? That's the Department of Defense and other departments and offices want to know. Was it truly worth it? And who did you think it was hurting? Because when Andre Williams nappy head offspring, Andre Williams Jr., why don't they put Jr. behind that boy's name? Find out that his pa is probably the father, the deadbeat of like 10 or 20. Ain't no telling how many motherfucking then P said on top about we'll talk about the baby daddy then. How about that? We'll talk about the kids. Kids gonna be like, are you like the little duck? Are you my mommy? Are you my mommy? Are you my mommy? Are you my daddy? Are you my... No, your daddy is in Kentucky, little boy. That's why individuals thou shalt not forge a birth certificate. That can't even be traced back. Ain't no signature on it. It's electronic and that's prohibited. You can't do that shit. So let's see. So Black people can take their hoteps and their career criminals and their rapists and their pedophiles on. We ain't saying white people don't get it, but they deal with their kinds, and it's important for Black people to deal with their kinds. Why they be like, oh, you ain't Black enough. Them crimes was Black enough because Black people commit certain type of unnecessary crimes, y'all. And they will sit up there. Hoes will take their shit to the grave. Hoes will take their lies to the grave. The grave. Certain crimes that white people and other groups do not commit. You're depressed. You're gonna stay being depressed if you all you want to do is try to hide behind people's social security numbers and identities. So keep drinking your wine, keep getting drunk, keep sniffing the sugar boogers that you accuse Wendy Williams of doing. Keep on. We're not saying she never did it, but we just saying that at least she used her own money if she want to have a drink or engage in whatever. Sugar boogers. Yeah, they just keep catching and release, catch, release, catch, release, catch, release. I wish some a real troop stomp on them. Don't stomp on them, just arrest them. Let's sit up there. Keep your criminals against the across the red zones. Then they're trying to test people's discipline and patience, and I'm telling you, it been ran thin in 2016. It ran thin in 2016. Stop, catch, release, catch, release, catch, release is a detriment to policy. It's harmful to the public's health and economic stability and growth. Okay, let's see. Ain't nobody. These fake bloggers don't have nothing to talk about, but they scripted reality, black, and they're not stars. They are passovers. They're not even relevant. They're not megastars. They're not celebrities, and they're not actresses and actors. But they have done their Zeus best, darling. Now, so they subscribers, they're gonna be going, oh, makeup, breakup, who's sleeping with who. You can predict what goes on in the degenerate black plantation. You can pre-predict it. And it's not to say that people are perfect, but it's certain type of things that black people, even if they come from the project, they just go like, you know what? Oh, you have a record? Oh, okay, nah. People get to decide whether or not people out here, they'll lie about their criminal record. So y'all just start doing your due diligence. And like I said, if people choose to change their lives, that's why all this stuff going about, because they messing with this dude now, and they trying to bully him. If you're not sleeping with him, why do you care who he's dating? And he must not know how to sue y'all, because if he did, he could. Or maybe he don't want to deal with the police, because he have a background. See, that's the thing that these Jezebels hold over black guys' heads. Yeah, I know you ain't gonna call the police because you have a background, so I'm gonna just do what I need to do and to fuck over you. Start picking up that phone, y'all. Because even if you have a background, long as you've been, you know what I'm saying, in good standing, you can file a police report. That's what these hoes want you to think, and they be like, let them call you a snitch or whatever, rat, whatever. These hoes are not immune to going to motherfucking jail as well. And y'all need to learn how to y'all listen to these fake relationship girls. Make sure these girls can show you who they sleep with. Why they try to tell you how to do this and how to do that or whatever. That's one thing I do say as an advocate. You change your life and you got motherfuckers, no matter the gender, fucking pick up the phone and just use 911. So all this defund the police, that was bullshit that these motherfucking Jezebels and these pussy popping hoes are spewing, and they hotel nappy headed niggas. Now I'm about to end this video because I get so passionate when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, any type of advocacy, but yeah, but let them call you a snitch, just dial 911. Especially if you need a protective order. And vice versa. It doesn't matter the gender. So these stupid gender wars that's going on is very low optional, but once again, this is how the black plantation operate. Okay, now come on, we gotta go and get up. Gotta get down. Yeah, so individuals don't have to stun or whatever, y'all. And I still have more to go. I do not want to get rid of my love handle because I be seeing things on YouTube be like, oh, you wanna? No, I don't want to get rid of my love handles. I just want to tone up. You want to tell the people hello, even though I don't like you in this area. No. Hey, you. Okay, we're gonna have to do it. We'll do a different video, y'all. for the animal lovers. Animal lovers of the real animal kingdom. That's why I have to be specific, because these career criminals, I wouldn't even wish that on the animal kingdom. They'd be like, we don't want to claim that, and I don't blame you, monkeys, and giraffes and penguins, bears. All right, y'all. And this has been a table read edition of Crowns and Tea with Irish Canary. I know y'all thought I was going to say we envy me greatly. No, envy me greatly has been proudly suspended and permanently banned from Twitter, and it was the greatest thing to ever happen, basically. And so if individuals keep flagging people's channels, I'll just go down to departments and offices, and then I could just hand, you know what I'm saying? It's different ways. People do not have to work from home. So, do the American taxpayers believe when individuals send research to Virginia and Washington, D.C. out of good faith, they should give them a stipend and give them a reward for breaking codes and or lack thereof, and discovering OPM breaches in order to strengthen and modernize cybersecurity for transparency purposes? I yield back to the competent side of Congress. They say Congress is the pocket or the wallet or whatever. That's what they used to say back in the day. So, all right, you guys. I'm about to put something on my stomach because my stomach was growling. I'm well overdue. I am supposed to eat before 4 o'clock. So I'm about to put something on my stomach or whatever, and I hope to talk to you guys real soon. I don't get on daily but anyway, I gotta go and combine this junk and so that it could be sent off. So shout out to individuals who are real YouTube influencers who stay in their own lane and don't try to switch facts or change the narratives or try to poke bears. Shout out to individuals. I have not drank water yet. I'm parched. Shout out to, and probably why I would sit up there stumbling over my words. Shout out to individuals. Shout out to individuals who believe in themselves, actually. Shout out to people who are real advocates rather than fake fucking activists. Shout out to individuals who believe in self-sufficiency, economic development, and or growth. Shout out to individuals who believe in transparency. Shout out to people who are creative and they can create their own tables and walk on their own 10 toes and 2 feet. Sometimes we finna say 10 feet and 2 toes. They be like, this bitch is retarded. Go back to GED. Shout out to individuals who use their real degrees for universal good, because that's what it was intended, not to just create and make up your laws and pretend to be senators and judges and agencies. Shout out to individuals who take a bite out of motherfucking crime, who are competent and do not abuse their badge. Shout out to individuals, I get that, who put their lives on the line protecting our borders, and shout out to the individuals who are retired. So, I dearly miss a lot of them. All right, now I got a jet, and I don't know when I'm coming back, but I'll talk to you guys soon. And just know that even when the government is not always working, we the people are definitely always working for who? You the people, because that's what it's all about, y'all. Now, thank you to individuals who participated in special and unique social experience and training and drill exercises, critical thinking exercises and training, y'all. And I was able to learn a lot from you guys too. I learned how to, you know what I'm saying? I'm learning not how to do crime. I'm not a comedian. I'm not Greg Gutfield, and I'm definitely not BB. Oh, the racist here. The funniest guy in America. Donald J. Marcus Trump. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful day. And if you guys have any issues or whatever, feel free to drop a comment. Leave your contact information or whatever. And on downtime, I can get back to you. All right. I digress. Now I got a jet. Bye. Adios.